Coming up on WUFT Midday, across America, people stop to remember 9/11. We take you to New York City, where it all happened. Then, we move to Louisiana and give you the latest on Hurricane Francine preparations. Plus, the latest on threats to schools across Columbia County. WUFT Midday starts now.
You're watching WUFT Midday.
Let's take a live look at the World Trade Center as the U.S. remembers the tragedies of the September 11th terrorist attacks. This year's election season may have taken some ugly turns, but both presidential candidates put their fighting aside and came together along with other party leaders to remember the lives lost during the September 11th attacks. This is WUFT Midday. I'm Bernardo Montas. 23 years since the worst terror attack in U.S. history. In 2001, Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airplanes and crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in the attacks. Vice President Harris and former President Trump joined President Biden and the victims' families to honor them. The head of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, says it's important to remember that threats, home and abroad, still exist.
But the threat has evolved so that we are also concerned about individuals already here in the United States radicalized to violence by false narratives, ideologies of hate, personal grievances.
This year also marks a dark milestone. More New York first responders have died from post-9/11 illnesses than on the day of the attack. At 9 this morning, crews with the Alachua County Fire Rescue performed the annual stair climb to commemorate 9/11. They invited the public to participate at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. The first responders represented the 343 firefighters who lost their lives during the attacks. In Marion County, the stair climb took place at the Florida State Fire College. We have pictures for you from this morning's event. Marion County Fire Rescue first responders climbed 110 stories to stand in solidarity with the firefighters who climbed the stairs of the World Trade Center. Tuesday night was the first and potentially only head-to-head debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, giving voters the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates. And as Bree Jackson reports, while this debate covered policy points from both candidates, their attacks on each other took center stage.
This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class.
Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible.
The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
Francine has strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour and is forecast to keep strengthening, possibly to a Category 2 storm. This is a live look at the waves crashing into the beach in Galveston, Texas. As Hurricane Francine continues to grow in the warm waters of the Gulf, rushing toward the Louisiana coast this morning, New Orleans a potential target for landfall later today. Showers and storms are increasing across North Florida as the outer bands of the hurricane approach the Florida Panhandle today. WUFT meteorologist William Maxham is in the Weather Center with the latest on Francine and what its impacts will be across Florida.
Yeah, most of the impacts across the state are really going to be into the Panhandle. We might see an uptick in the showers and storms over the next couple of days, but it's already been pretty rainy. Right now we are seeing some of those outer bands making for some rain in the Gulf, but across more central Florida, just a couple spotty showers, pretty much the same stuff we've seen all week. That storm, though, has intensified a bit. It is now a strong Category 1, looking pretty impressive as it closes in on the coastline, but it is not expected to intensify very much from its current intensity. Winds are at 90 miles an hour right now, and that's probably about the same speed they're going to be when this storm makes landfall later this evening. 90-mile-an-hour winds into Louisiana. It's going to weaken quickly after making landfall and move northward, and by tomorrow we're talking about winds under 30 miles an hour by the end of the day. Friday's winds, not such a big deal, but the rain, though, still pretty impressive through the early part of the weekend, Friday and Saturday. As far as severe weather associated with this storm, on the right side of this storm, that's where the most intense activity is going to be. And as the storm moves inland, we're going to see potentially some quick spin up tornadoes, so a slight risk of severe storms there. That's all to our west, and we're probably not even going to see tropical storm force winds of 39 miles an hour in the state of Florida. This is Destin right here, 0% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds as it moves on shore, but we're definitely going to be seeing the rain. Rounds of heavy rain going to continue to move through. That's going to be the case across all of North Florida through the day tomorrow, and today also likely to see lots of rain as well. Skies cloudy for the moment. We're into the 80s. We haven't seen a whole lot of rain in the past 24 hours, but rain expected to pick up into the afternoon and evening and maybe continue through much of the night. Temperatures into the 80s, 70s where it is raining quickly. We'll look at our future cast right here where we'll show the showers picking up through the afternoon and some heavier rain towards the Tallahassee area and further westward into the Panhandle. A brief break overnight, then more storms come our way tomorrow and to Friday as well. Heavy rain really our biggest concern from the storm, and as we get later on into the weekend, we'll see the probability of precipitation going down, but that's really mainly after Saturday. Saturday's still going to have numerous showers, looking drier as we start next week. Temperatures going to start to move back upwards as the rain chances go down. We're looking at temperatures back up into the 90s by the middle of next week, but stormy weather dominating the forecast in the next two, especially this evening and overnight and first half of Friday.
The Columbia County Sheriff's County announces a fourth threat to another school, following 3 arrests about previous school threats. Authorities say the fourth threat targeted Lake City Christian Academy, but was not made via social media. Previously, a 14-year-old was arrested after posting a threat and faces a second-degree felony charge. This follows the arrest of a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old. Law enforcement is treating all of the posts with the same level of seriousness and urge parents to check their children's social media accounts. Authorities also urge anyone with information about circulating posts to contact the sheriff's office. The Federal Emergency Management Agency opened disaster recovery centers in Alachua and Jefferson counties. Both centers will be providing one-on-one help to Floridians affected by Hurricane Debbie. The Alachua County Center is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. Saturday. The Jefferson County Center is open 9 a.m. through 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. To find other center locations for Hurricane Debbie, go to FEMA.gov or text DRC and a zip code to 43362. The Alachua County Crisis Center needs volunteer counselors for its crisis line. Volunteers learn active listening, crisis intervention, suicide prevention, and community disaster response. Training starts September 21st. It's every Tuesday and Thursday evening for 8 weeks. Volunteers will complete 24 4-hour shifts. For more information, contact Alachua County Crisis Center. Inflation dropped to its lowest rate since February 2021. The Consumer Price Index has fallen from a 2.9% rate in July to 2.5% in August. For the month, prices rose by 0.2%. Falling gas prices helped lower inflation for the month, while overall flood inflation was up 0.1%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics noted that the cost of owning and renting a home continued to be the main factor driving high inflation rate. Last month, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said inflation is now on a sustainable path to normal levels and indicated he was prepared to cut interest rates soon. A weight loss drug is showing promise to treat childhood obesity. In a late-stage trial, children who used the weight loss drug liraglutide lost significantly more weight than children on a placebo. The study published in the New England Journal of Medicine looked at the effects of the drug on children between the ages of 6 and 12 with a high body mass index. Out of 82 children, 56 received the drug injection once a day. The rest received the placebo. All received diet and exercise counseling. At the end of the trial, those on the drug had a BMI more than 7 percentage points lower than their counterparts. Now let's get over to WFT's Jamie Goldman with a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
We're working on a number of stories happening right now for WFT's First at 5. We take a look at local preparations to provide assistance with Hurricane Francine. Plus, we tell you what Columbia County law enforcement wants you to do to ensure safety following the recent school shooting threats. And a recap of the debate. I'll see you at First at 5.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Yeah, the main impacts from this hurricane are going to be felt across parts of really Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and somewhat into the peninsula, or excuse me, into the panhandle of Florida. In the peninsula, maybe an uptick in showers and thunderstorms for today and tomorrow. We've got an 80% chance of storms both days. There's a low end threat for some areas of flooding, but not much more than we've seen over the past couple days. Storms kind of tail off over the weekend. Next week, we're going to start a transition into what's probably going to be a somewhat drier and a little bit warmer mid part of next week.
Thanks for joining us for WUFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition. We now join Sports Scene with Steve Russell, live on WRUF Radio and right here on WRUF-TV, Channel 6.